Hello, hello, hello. This is Michael from Blue Gem Tarot. Feeling in the mood today to tackle a topic called. I forgot what it's called. Yeah, it happens. Let me check. Okay. Um, what people don't want you to find out or to know. Now, this is gonna be obviously um, stuff related to hiding information away, not telling you what's going on, things that would rather be kept under wraps even from other people and people thinking about them. I already know what's gonna unfold in all of the three piles, and I wanna say I'm not gonna give spoilers, okay? Just check out for yourself. But yeah, not gonna give spoilers. I said I'm not gonna give spoilers. The previous campaign about not giving Fs is still active. We're still not giving Fs. We're not doing that. Um, I have to get back to reading the comments. It's something that, but when I see comments that, distasteful comments, then no, I'm not gonna the campaign is still gonna go active on not giving, and it's not like we don't have Fs anymore, not fresh ones, not old ones, expired. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. And also, um, for the people who don't get anything about what I do, I'll have a very famous phrase. I love it. It's like from a very wise person. It's called beauty is a waste when the beholder has no taste. I laughed so hard at this one because it's so true. And sometimes when I do read the comments and I get some feedback, um, it's so accurate. I cannot tell you. Sometimes people, yeah, this one summed up everything. Um, for the category of people telling me that maybe I'm tired, maybe I sound bored, or maybe whatever, tell you this. Tell you what. Yeah, I'm human, and it takes quite a bit of me to show up. It's understandable why I would get such comments. Um, Maybe to clear things up, yeah, it's sometimes it is really hard to conceptualize and drop on the meanings, and that's why it's quite a stretch. I It's quite difficult to read in layers or to extract the information in the style in which I do, because I'm a very pretentious person and I do like to direct the reading in a very unique way and also make it quite deep, and I have this quality to complicate things. So yeah, if I sound tired, maybe I am, and if I sound bored, I don't know. I'm not quite confident about this one, but it happens. It could happen. I'm human after all, and yeah. It's a very. For the positive comments, however, I just want to say, and yeah, I don't describe meaning like positive, negative, whatever, but yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for everything that you do. I get back to comments even if shamefully they're 1 to 3 months old sometimes. Yeah, not proud of that. But generally, I just want to say I I never leave people even if you don't see an obvious reaction, know that I will get back to the actual comment, and I really love the interactions, and I really love the genuine feedback that I get. Quite frankly, I just want to say I never get tired of just saying this in the intros, but the positive comments just generally tackle things and say things in such a creative way, in such positive and creative ways that it like surprises me in the best ways possible. Like, and all comments count. This, like, even the short ones where the person is like posting a heart, or yeah, whatever, or the timestamp, I don't know, it still counts as a contribution to the channel. So yeah, um thank you so much for that. It's just very refreshing to read and to be reminded of many positive things as I do in the comments. So thank you so much for that. um I think that's pretty much it for the cards. I'm thinking about, again, this is kind of bugging me out, the fact that I would like to really expand on um, the suggestions that I get, because I genuinely think that they have really good potential. But it's a very like strange. I would most likely go ahead and tell you I would rather work with them personally in personal readings, because on the channel, as I've seen in analytics, it's following a very distinct, let's just say, trajectory, the topics. That's why they follow a logic, a general logic. And I would like to keep myself relevant so I can keep on doing the work that I do and be present in here. But I will not lie, there were situations where I myself came up with some, as I thought, and they really were good topics, but they weren't as appealing as I wanted them to be. And I also kind of find that I have a tendency to read much more powerfully on in like one-on-one sessions, and I can see also in one-on-ones, thankfully, because of the people I read to, that I really excel at going so deep and beyond the cards themselves, and reading the energy. And what I find is just surprising and it's very helpful. So yeah, how I'm gonna expand with the suggestions still remains to be explored, and also the personal requests, because yeah, uh, working on the videos in the weekdays, it's definitely something I enjoy, but it's like, taking all the free time. So yeah, I hope you understand and you don't feel like it's an like ignoring of the request. And I when I get requests, I actually screenshot them. They are in both my phones. So yeah, I cannot say when for sure, but I will get to responding to them with a proper video, or yeah. But yeah, that's kind of it. I don't want to make it feel lengthy. You have the timestamps in the description section and the comment section. Check them out there, and you'll probably see that you have 3 rings. I will most likely name them somehow in the comment section, but yeah, it's pretty, like, the first one is a white orn ornate or ornamented, um it's a ring. Second, it's a moonstone ring, and third, it's like a butterfly depicted there, like in a circular ring. Take your time, you can choose multiple piles. By the way, many people will have multiple piles because what I saw in there was interchangeable. So yeah, go ahead, do that. We'll be waiting for you in each of your piles, and don't bark at me if it either doesn't resonate. No, people didn't do that, but like, if you don't agree, or if you whatever else, like, I don't wanna deal with that. I don't wanna go in that mud of the comment, saying that it's not that or not. Don't watch it, okay? Nobody's actually telling you to watch my videos. I know what my intention is. That's the most important thing for me. But if you wanna like contribute with that, nobody likes dumps in the comment section. But if you wanna do it, who is holding you back? Nobody. So yeah, free will. Sometimes I wanna take it, but enjoy. Had to rant. It's not gonna be me if I don't.
Okay, pile number 1, welcome to your reading. What people don't want you to find out. This is also, again, under no circumstances they want you to find out, or like secret information that's being kept from you. I want to say, judging from the first card, this first of all talks about a lot of compliments in here, and a certain level of very distinct and beautiful, almost like non-invasive attractiveness. I don't know which one is the case, which one is the correct one though, I don't know. I just want to say that with the first card, which is usually like the telling one, there is a lot of like again, compliments in regards to your physical appearance. This is in general also a lot of admiration. I don't know, maybe this is the why you don't necessarily receive those, or maybe you do, but this is like a secret, or they don't want you to find out. It's because it feels to me like it's a standoffish quality, even if I wouldn't say this person, like you in this case, is you're actually looking for this. In this case, I would say it's very effortless attention that you do attract. Also, the like what's strange to me, and not necessarily like strange, but it's a lot of like swords cards. So there must be some story in here that will relate to the fact that you are wildly desired, but it carries this forbidden aspect or element, or either there is distance, or there is a lot of like lots of gaps, or I don't know how to explain it. I just see like, and like as well from this Seven of Wands, like unaffected, unfazed, yet the level in which you affect people, and because of the Emperor in here, specifically men, it's positively destabilizing. Destabilizing came through because like it feels like you are disarming people. They don't want you to know how much you literally affect people, okay? Judging also from the Three of Wands in here and the Queen of Swords, there is a sort of, again, I came across this energy in the past. It's reassessment, a sort of a reassessment of values. Usually people feel very stubborn or just like inflexible, and when they meet you, it's like this very like taming energy that I would say is relevant to your pile. Also, like, I want to say this is not okay, these are not very gentle cards in here for this context, but I want to say it's like it's in a very positive context. And also we have ice and swords, which is typically air, or yet like very like, let's just say cutting, yet it's like, you know, the story where this cutting energy really finds its fitting place, or either it is about status in here, that's really the case also, but it's like, you know, people do halt, stop, and rethink when it comes to you, when it comes to the interactions with you. And there is like this desire to almost acknowledge secretly, like make you feel seen and known, but again, I feel like they are afraid. And I want to just say, because the emperor typically represents masculine, but it doesn't have to be only about that. Not gonna lie, this is gonna be a level of like almost like sacred intimidation, or people in high status, authority figures, bosses, they do not feel powerful around you. Like, let's just point this out. It's quite fascinating how I literally found in here from different decks all like the three like queens of swords. So to me, that's a very telling sign of some very powerful character in here. And because of the topic, people don't want you to know how much they actually internally recognize, acknowledge, and actually validate you. But it's making me feel like, already the power dynamic seems to be going in your favor so much that it's not gonna be very fitting for them to actually go ahead and acknowledge your status. I don't feel like this is a pleasant story for the people. I do feel like you would feel disinterested, or that's like their take. It's as if you would be not interested in the words at all, and you could be feeling very grounded, confident in your ability to, again, almost like destabilize. I want to say it just makes me feel like you are very confident, very self-assured, and also this is very obvious to people and they want to compliment you on that, but they can't, or they are feeling afraid. The grand theme in here, it's like not wanting to recognize how much they're affected, not wanting you to know how much they actually believe, feel, and like on a felt level understand your status, your stance. Like this person from pile number one doesn't need a title, a rank, or something along these lines to be qualified to use power, or in general exude a very like strong, like almost stoic, it came through, um, energy. And it's very real. I want to say pile number one feels very real. Okay, I love what I see though in the lower part. Also, like we have lighthouse. I feel like this one pertains to your ability to stand off. We have secret and mysterious, so definitely we have in here some like questions. People don't want you to know how many like things and how inquisitive they can feel at times when it comes to you and unraveling. Like with stuck as well, it made me feel like you are being like either stalked, or people are stuck on you, they keep tabs on you. And it's not like, this is not, it could be from a romantic standpoint, but I don't feel like this is necessarily the grand theme for pile number one. However, it makes me feel like regardless of the situation, you just generally like float about in people's minds. And it's a very like uncomfortable feeling. It's almost like the memory or the thought of you really haunts some people. And generally reminding, like, for some reason you remind people of something real about them that they don't want to acknowledge, or that they are not ready to acknowledge. Or judging from this nine of wands in the center first card, it made also sense to me that you perhaps embody something that people also want to embody, but they would have to step into more authenticity to actually come closer to that element that you freely represent. And it's very honorable also energy. It's like very truthful, real, authentic. It feels to me like you are not to be messed with, and that's like also some like I see this whole energy mix as a very strong like pulsating aura, I would say, that generally doesn't leave people indifferent, regardless of, again, whether it be romantic, work related, friendship. I would just say that you will most likely resonate with this pile if you are feeling like you are a loner or that you don't perhaps have a lot of friends. There is like forbidden element in here also that people don't want you to know of. It's attachment, it's again keeping tabs on you, but I feel like all of this is kind of being cancelled out, or really like it almost like gets distorted, because people do get a very strong and distinctive feeling that you're not gonna like sit around and prove anything. What I just wanna say, a lot of confidence is being exuded in here from pile number one. It's no like it's no interference, like a lot of like truthful elements to your character, to your like demeanor, I would say. And surprisingly, all of this, again, it circles back to the concept of primarily you are being like analyzed or placed on a pedestal, and it's very uncomfortable for people to recognize this. And also I feel like there is a message of there is a lot of attention on you, and you feel comfortable with it, or or you are very actually happy or confident about it again, which I really like. But also boundaries keeping, boundary upkeep is something very specific for this one, and it's it's pretty impressive. It's pretty impressive because there is like immovable, okay, that's coming through. There is also like, as I said from the very beginning, a lot of people are looking from the perspective of the admiration for the like beauty standpoint. Definitely you have that. And finally, it's not about you have that, like, I'm saying it's like a lot of let's just say here and there sparks of that energy in the reading itself that's coming through. But again, it's coming through as being very convoluted. I would say like this is the case where some people are really obsessed in here, but they don't want to recognize it. And again, marginally, this is not even about romance, by the way. I just want to say it feels like you're so well built, in the sense that you do not seek approval, you do not seek anything in that regard. You're coming through as being very independent, and that is making you feel very like desirable, very stunning to people. Like with Four of Cups in here, it's like, it's the very opposite energy to that of being clingy. But generally people don't want you to know how much there are triggers in here, like from the Nine of Swords, from the Seven of Swords, there are a lot of people who are generally haunted by the idea of you, coming from the standpoint of they're too good to be true, they're too good for me, they're too good, okay, like that's, or they wouldn't even like dare look at me, or they're not interested. Funnily enough, also we have the topic of emotional invulnerability, or not lack thereof, but very good control and build perception over people from exterior. And you're very selective about what display you have, what you show, what you don't show, what you conceal. There is just lots of almost like caution, or very like deliberate refinement in expression, which I do really like in here. But yeah, it's very it's creating like a very strong imprint on people, and it's pretty amazing, I would say. um, I would say like also people would want to ask you for some sort of guidance, advice, because I see in here lots of like, it's not even about the cars, to be quite frank with you, but it feels to me like people don't want to admit how much they feel like you have it all sorted out or figured out, or that you have some sort of like key to some situation, or you know how to deal with something in a very powerful slash proficient way that they cannot, or they would like to do it as you do. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's the case also with this emperor that we have some power figures in here, people who feel like you would handle things much in a much better, much more stable way. Or also what was fascinating and caught me by surprise was the energy of this emperor in here. Is like, you know, I have the car, I have the house, I have the whatever the rank in here, like, you know, universally signs or like symbols of power. I don't know, like that's what's coming through, or whatever else is in there, like money, status, whatever in their definition. When you show up, it's like maybe you don't have their set of power, but you do exude that power, and you do it really well, and it comes really naturally. When for their in their case, it's actually much more forced, or it's like an imitation, or it's much more conflicted than it is in your case. So that's like a lot of admiration, but it's a very hesitant admiration, because like, you know, if I admire, it's a very strange comment in here, but it's if I admire you, then what am I left with, or who's gonna call the shots, or, you know, it's like a fear of loss of authority. But what's strange at the same time is the fact that we have the polar opposite, which is like, you know, I would benefit a lot from opening up to this person, and they also perhaps would benefit a lot, you know. Even though, again, I don't feel like you ever inquired, asked, or even talked about, you know, some sort of like, you don't, you feel very not distracted but detached, and it's in a good way. It's like, you know, I'm not taking what's not mine, by myself. I don't need, like, my peace is not reliant on your fluctuations of energy, emotion, and moods, and whatever else. Definitely lots of secret tabs or secret thoughts in here will play out. Also, this is gonna play out as like looking at you, observing you closely, okay? But it's in a very controlled and careful way. It's also a desire to hold the reins and basically figure everything out about you, but they cannot. Like, I just wanna say, they don't want you to know how like scared and out of control they feel when it comes to figuring you out, okay? And with branding in here also, it doesn't help. It doesn't help that they feel even more conflicted about this. Okay. It's like the more I try, the worse it gets. And the far away you feel, by the way. With empty, I think I'm gonna have to switch to that style of reading because it really works well. Pausing and thinking, not stream of thought. But when you're around, a void gets filled, and empty, I'm surprised I don't see in here a void, but it's like very comforting. Your presence is very comforting to people. They don't want you to know how comforting this is, because it gets really like hooked, and you kind of fulfill multiple needs. I don't know what that means, but either you're very, like, you know, perfectly cold and distant, but at the same time compassionate, kind, and loyal. but at the same time mysterious. So it's like, you show up, but that showing up usually in the go-to regular circumstances scenarios really tells the person more details about the person who's stepping up. In this case, it's completely like, the narrative that you want to present, you present, and something else gets lost in the shadows. They cannot, they do not feel like they figured you out. I don't know what's your take on this, but you're pretty immune to reactions in here, I would say. There is a loss of ability to place labels on you or to categorize you. It's very like um, foggy when it comes to that, but it's in a good way, and it's carrying a lot of respect out of this. So it's like, carefully masterful at the display of their persona into the world. What's surprising in here is the amount of admiration again, and it's very pure. It's not superficial. It's not like, only like physical attraction or physical appearance. It's very powerful core compliments, admiration in here coming from the lighthouse, and it's very truthful. So these are not light or false compliments. This is a deep desire to know you. This is also a deep desire to perhaps come closer, but again, it's a very almost like questionable or doubtful approach in here. So definitely you won't have a lot of people who are going to be deliberate, direct, straightforward in their admiration for you, but they will try, or they will actually carry that inside of them, and you could feel it at some point. Finally, with frantic in here, also what I saw was like some people panicking when they saw you, when they see you, panicky, stressed, anxious about how they look, anxious about how they present themselves to you, and definitely very obsessed over how you see them. It's almost like desperate thing in here, okay? Not gonna lie. I also see in here sort of, let's just say, envy. Or for some it's gonna be envy, for some it's gonna be on a spectrum, but there is a desire to be like you, a desire for shared likeness, and feeling like you represent some missing parts of themselves, or some lost stories, some lost elements of who they are, and you representing those. It's feeling quite threatening because, as well, these are not mere fragments. So it's like, you can represent up to 3, 4, or even more elements of themselves that they want to represent, that they want to embody, and it's a bit overwhelming, I would say. So, for example, something about the way in which you talk, something about the way in which you literally think and then you express. Some person thinks that they want to be like this, or the way in which you carry yourself, and the way in which you build relationships, or the way in which you follow a routine. All of this could be like very, like, it's a mix of, like, a cluster of a lot of very positive things that people like feel like it's a lot of characteristics that I just cannot, like, I need to take them one by one, but it's a very big set. And I feel like also with this first card, it's like, a fear of loss, a fear of loss of you before, like, they don't want you to disappear, and them to be not ready to basically, like, fully understand or figure you out, okay? Which is very laughable, because I don't feel like you are meant to, follow those narratives, and it's very personal, like how people perceive you. And also, lastly, in here, I want to say lots of thoughts, conflicted ones. You will find that more or less you are much more grounded, settled, and orderly, and more peaceful in your demeanor than lots of people who surround you. And they are like having also very pesky, or let's just say generally chaotic thoughts, and you kind of like come through as being on a pedestal or unaffected by all of this. And it's like, the petty drama of life, or in general drama, is not affected, like, is not being imprinted, or you're not affected by it. And thus we had also like all these like queens of swords in here. You're like dissecting those energies really well, and really like in a very like almost disciplined, systematic, and like regular routine type of way. Okay, there's lots of like there is much more room in here to talk about. uh, there's lots of layers of information, but like that's what was the most like telling story thing detail I came through that came through. I think that's pretty much it, pile number one. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to check out the older videos on the channel, then go ahead and do that. And for the donations, we have the comment section and the description section for the links if you are interested in that. What can I say? My personal take on this is it was also kind of filtered into the reading. I would say well done. It feels like this pile is beautifully proficient and strongly distinct in a world of chaos, I would say. And because of this chaos and almost like fragmentation, you seem to be coming through as a person who has it all like under control or figured out. And that's very like almost like enviable. People admire you for it, and they wanna aspire to be like this too. Okay. Generally about you, something feels like it's very confident, quite like going into a direction of purpose, feels very confident, conscious, and deliberate. So yeah, that's kind of it. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, pile number two, welcome to your reading. Definitely, like very obvious, very, you really have to be blind to not see the things that pile number two brings to the table. You feel much more expressive, much more open, almost like you feel very out there in a way, very warm, very sunny, very deliberate. This is a person who's very deliberate in their expression, their presence. You like to be acknowledged, you like to love, okay? But also what's very, let's just say, quite also obvious is the lack of mirroring in here. And strangely, like what we would find for pile number two is a lot of people just holding let's just say lists and general like tons of words of obvious like admiration and compliments that you should be given. And when I say it, it's gonna be very obvious to you. So that means you are pretty confident, or you know what I'm talking about in here compliment wise. So at least we have that. We have this, we have a very distinct set of positive qualities that you are very self-conscious about, but also that scares people. When I say that, literally I can't believe I'm saying that. But why this is coming through as scaring people, because there is a like definitely a definition of fear of messing everything up, or I heard in here, where were you all this time? I also see lots of disappointment in themselves, people here. I see lots of like missed chances, broken chances, opportunities missed, or just in general, like, like shame. That's very strange in here because obviously this is about you, but it's like it's coming through as an explanation as to why you got treated in the way that you were. Um, yeah, this is very strange. I just want to say it's not very proportional in here when that I see actually a person who's so good at something but they don't get the recognition. This is quite concerning. Not, I don't know from which side, because from both, because um, when you have such qualities, you have to be praised, you have to be seen, you have to be acknowledged, you have to place those on a social level and basically be like cherished for that. But in this case, how this doesn't happen, I do not understand. Because it's quite shocking how the value of pile number two, it's very telling, it's very obvious, it's there, it's very like, and we have a story in here where it gets either played toned down, or you never kind of reach the spotlight where like you are literally born for it. And I don't want you also, what fascinates me in here, and I don't know if this fascinates me or actually not even scares, but really makes me feel concerned, is because you could identify some of you with being humble or retreated or much more passive in here. With Noel, it's like a very like loyally but humble mix of character. But the qualities that you have, these are not supposed to be filtered through that like humble and also temperance. So this is like a wild value in here that you have, and it's not meant to be like toned down by, first of all, I don't know, it makes me feel like it would be relevant to tell you that the external assessment of how things are is not actually accurate at all, if it's not in the direction of recognizing you, or if it's the case where you don't have anything and you know that you're valuable, then it's obviously gonna be the case that people are simply incapable of either seeing you or both you and first actually themselves, and they are very like hesitant to like compliment slash acknowledge, recognize you, but it's like the actual blatant blindness in here and avoidance about who you are. And I want to say, we have in here moon, we have in here good that these are in reverse, like at least the moon, but the empress in reverse and the hierophant in reverse are not very like, I just want to say, I see a person who has, and I don't want to talk about cringy potential stories and stuff, but these are, let's just translate it and make it less cringy. It's not cringy necessarily, but it's like very cliche to talk about potential. It's a very obvious situation when you are just meant to take the stage, the spotlight. You're meant to be seen, you're meant to be recognized, you're meant for great powerful slash people loving you situations, okay? And what I see in here, it's a drainage, okay? Draining your, I'm sorry, it's frustrating, I suppose, but yeah. And also something from this Knight of Swords is like, maybe this is about some sort of story of maybe it's self-worth, but also like just leave those situations. Like, that's what I want to say. A person running to the motorcycle. I'm allergic to motorcycles. You maybe know why, like, judging from the background noise. Anyways, it makes me feel like you are meant to effortlessly be cherished, valued, and it's not in a passive way, not in the way in which you are being treated right now, okay? Because the scales really feel reversed for some reason, and you have some very like in the people are very confident, not confident, but like very conscious about who you are. It's as if they are even more conscious than you are at times, and but somehow this doesn't prevent them from toning down everything, which I find to be pretty annoying. So I just want to say what I see in here is like a loyalty and a sort of very strong, not charm in here. Charm is not necessarily the case, but it's like, why aren't you leaving? Or I don't understand how can it be that the actual energy that's coming from you is brilliant, it's beautiful, it's perfect, and the circumstance is just not seeing that, okay? And what I heard in here, very similar to another pile too, but it's like how talented you are. And also, this is not gonna be about. This is so strange. Like, I'm not gonna lie. This is not the story where you literally have to struggle to prove your point or to struggle to actually be ahead of the game. This is not a competition of self worth or you having to prove the point. I just want to say it's like you are effortlessly talented and you have like the top rank or you're the first in here by default or easily or simply because you choose one day to express, like that's how it feels. A ton of like self-worth in here that's gonna be relevant, a ton of like unbelievably strong self-worth and value that you have. It's like not even close. I don't know. It feels like it's not even close to what you think it is or what the situation is mirroring. Maybe some of you are actually better at this, but just want to say we have a person who's meant to embody high ranks when situations, some people, or some very strange circumstances just place you in a low rank. Like, that's just, it's not unfair, it's actually like rageful. Like, that's how it feels for me. I don't know. And it's very unfair. Yeah. I want to say also, it's you have people observing you, and they like again. Strangely, you'd find that people have a perception of you that's very accurate, and that you have admirers in here that are not involved in all of this, but they have the actual. They see you as lucky. They see you as very like powerful expression, powerful person. Okay, very smart, intelligent, just talented in here is coming through very strong, okay? There is a huge fat lie in here, okay? Um, that's like sitting there as a filter that makes you believe that you are not that impactful or you don't have that big of a deal of an impact. With nervous in here, you don't know. Like, you don't know how deep your impressions that you have on people, how deep they go. You have no idea. And all of this, it's being like very nobly, like in a very noble way, wrapped around your identity, your core self. And you almost like, again, talking about that potential thing, it's like you're not like you're almost like conserving or condensing that, or you're saying like maybe for later, or it's really very strange. I don't know. You have some people in here definitely like striving or wishing they wish they had that, whatever it is, it's worth in here. I don't know. It's just a lot of like, yeah. Also, it does remind me of a very classical scenario. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. It's like when a person, let's just say, of very high status, like would be like born or for some circumstances just live in a very low rank status situation, and they would be so different and everyone would just like ignore them or whatever, but at the same time like envy them. There was a story, there was like a story about this one, I don't know. But what's like wild and here is the fact that it's all of it, it's inside, like all your worth, all your, my god, people would pay a lot, okay, to be like this. They would like give a lot to be like you. And to me it's very strange. It's very it's a very concrete message, even though this kind of sneaked up on me in this topic. But yeah, you have some people in here, and this is like knowingly or not, but they see you for who you are and they see you as very, very powerful. You could even make, like with nervous, you could make people nervous about like yeah, it's like too many good qualities. And I just want to say it's like with this very first card, and we have two of swords, so it's like we have two of swords here but then there, and I wouldn't be surprised if you would actually be in some sort of denial or something really prevents your true perception of self to come through. But you literally know what I'm talking about in here. You have to know. You have to know because this is no coincidence. This is no random reading you stumble across. You have lots of admiration in here. First of all, this last row of cards, you have in here people comparing themselves to you. You have in here people like carefully and observing, like meticulously observing and thinking about what you represent and how powerful this is and how they want to be like this too. And to me what's fascinating slash again very strange is why does the world hold such a powerful perception and understanding of who you are, but and also they hold it back, while also at the same time you kind of are in the fog about this. There are literal moments in here with the Hierophant where your input was not only valuable, it was actually crazy, either accurate or on point, or you rescued someone or you rescued a situation. I see also in here from the Empress an energy of something you dropped, something you said really revealed what layer or what magnitude of character or rank you're coming from, okay? This is all happening so like haphazardly that it's you're dropping like hints, you know, for people who don't know about like whether you're confident or not, or whether you're aware of this dynamic, your worth, what's going on. For them it feels like hint dropping. For them it feels like you are showing who you are. And yeah, almost like withholding or holding back. Yeah, that's what they can see. To be quite frank, it's people feel outshined, but like that's not even the final form. I just keep on hearing I would give anything to be like you. I would give a lot to be like you. And you seemingly come across as unreachable, or the qualities that you represent feel unreachable, or straight out alien, out of this world. So it's like just how like a person would praise themselves for being proficient at something, and then you show up and you completely blast off their perception or idea of proficiency because you come off as being very advanced. However, all of this is being again toned down or like silently hidden in the first card I saw. That humble, very restrained, and almost it's very self-restrained or self-contained perception. Yeah, there is almost like a conspiracy of sorts that is playing around with not wanting you to fully step into your power, because again, already you have too much in the basket. Like, you have already too much on your side. Like, you better, like, let's just keep them how they are. We don't want more expressions, because like already people feel like they are losing. Okay, surprisingly, this is like coming from the same like group. That's why it's like very surprising, to be quite frank. um, you have like people who, they could hate you, but they could actually love you and admire you. It's a very strange mix. Anyways, it's not surprising at all, actually, how things in general, but it's like there will be multiple points and situations where ultimately you're gonna be recognized to such an extent that it's gonna be undeniable. Okay, there are too many pointers, there are too many situations showing that you are worthy, and it's not gonna be for long that it's allowed for you to be in the shadows for long. Okay, and also, like, you have lots of people not wanting you to know how much they are actually insecure. Okay, how much empty they feel, how empty actually they feel, how um, striving, or how hard it is for them to make things work, make things done, or make things function at all. Like, that's how it feels. Unstable. It feels like we have people also in here from like the proximity of yours that are very conflicted, or their internal state, it's very chaotic, unknown, complicated, and in general very confusing even to themselves. And what's shocking in here, perhaps even, is the fact that it's effortless. What you represent, what you do, or what you are generally embodying in here, it's so effortless and brilliant at the same time, that it's actually it's carrying a lot of envy, and people feel scared. Okay, they feel scared, they feel like, I don't understand why I feel inferior to this. Okay, yeah. Anyways, that's kind of it. Pile number 2. I hope you enjoyed the reading. That was a very unexpected, almost like stirred away from the topic, but anyways, it was necessary to hear, I suppose. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to comment, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out the older videos on it too. If you want to donate, the links are gonna be in the description and comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care. Okay, pile number 3, welcome to your reading. What are people hiding from you, or what they don't want you to find out? This one is interesting in comparison to all the piles too, because while it being similar, it has a very distinct flavor. Now, this reminded me of some sort of situation where some sort of conspiracy, someone is conspiring in here to not make you aware of your status, or to not allow, yeah, again, rank. This is rank in here. What this pile feels to me, it's as if you are of noble blood or something like this, and it just is giving off like exiled. Okay, now I don't know why this is the case, but it feels to me like your status, your rank, whatever this is called, or whatever this is very high. Okay, it feels to me like for some reason you are either forgotten,
or you're deliberately being hidden away, stashed away, because we have some very strong cards in here, I would say. First of all, um, similarly to another pile, you feel like you are strangely in a situation where everyone or everything is making it obvious that you are deserving of like your title, okay? I don't know why we have title in here for sure, but it's like I would say this is a deliberate downplay. Downtone, I don't know how to explain it, but there is a lot of awareness in the idea, like in investment or even like perception of who you are. And when I say it, like for you to be like very, for it to be quite concise or mm, I just have to explain it, I suppose. So there are obvious strength points or very, very good attributes ascribed to pile number 3 that, again, very similar to pile number 2, by the way. If you want to choose that, you can also watch it, are very, are not hard to observe or not hard to see. So I want to say I don't understand why we have this downplay in here, okay? But there is like almost like too much information or like too much talk about your worth in here, which is like very good but is dangerously good, or you know, a story where people want to make you feel small because that's what's benefiting them, the situation. But it also makes me feel like this is not gonna happen for very long, or it's actually cracking at seams. With the strength in here, they don't want you to know how much they actually value and how, like, strength, this is obvious, how powerful you are. Now, there has to be some sort of disadvantage, perceived disadvantage from their side, with the idea of recognizing you. And yeah, it's very strangely related to this strength card. It's like, if we are to give them the actual recognition, it would feel out of control. Um, it's like overqualified. If this is work related, okay, this will play itself out as being overqualified or too good, or you have made some sort of very good impression, but it almost like superseded the expectation and now it's becoming kind of dangerous, okay? It's also talking about, like, in the social aspect, people withholding compliments because they know how much you actually get them, or how it's actually pretty like easy for you to have them, okay? I don't know. This is kind of nuanced in here, but it's definitely talking from the same area. It's like I don't want to give them compliments because they'll think too much or they will become arrogant, which is not necessarily, I don't see the point, but it's like you definitely got in here some people who try to humble you for some reason. There is definitely also very close, like if you think that you're not observed or properly valued, definitely this is gonna be your pile, because looking at this Knight of Wands, you're actually very closely observed and analyzed. Like it's too well, and it's like it's gonna feel suspicious at some point because why am I so good at this but nobody says anything? So huge loneliness in the aspect of not being mirrored, and lots of observation for this pile too.
There is also with Stranger in here, as I was looking at this card, there are lots of questions and there are lots of like tabs in here, similarly to another pile, but this is a very like conflicted information because while also they want to find out more about you, it's like, you know, they want to keep their distance. Um, there is a genuine like envy in here. Okay, genuine envy. I know this is kind of weird sounding, but like it's coming through as like this person from pile number 3 contains multiple advantages, or you, if you were to fully like take on the spotlight or be like properly presented and praised for everything, then you would take the whole like stage, you'd take the whole, like all the attention, it feels to me, and that in and of itself makes you very like dangerous. I don't know why. Dangerous, but dangerous not universally but individually for that person or for that group of people. Like looking at these like row, like this row of cards, we have antagonistic, smooth, disguised, fortunate, reindeer, creepy, and stranger. It feels like you are living, walking superstar in here, but like your aura or your name, the way in which it's being mentioned and the ways in which it's being assessed, it's mixed with a lot of like envy. It's mixed with a lot of also very good reference. Like this is so strange because you can literally have some people like, you know, work wise complimenting you, but personally, for example, hating on you because they envy you. And this is a very like, I want to say, it came to me as though people consider you to be very lucky. I saw that from the fortunate and the reindeer, but it also carries this very like, you know, I'm like almost annoyed. um Not me personally, but like the people, like, you know, why do they get so much attention, like why do they, and it's also a sheer like ignorance and intention to make you not be seen. I don't know, this is like what's like happening in here. That's for sure what I can pick up on, and it's like dangerously close to being like cancelled out, or it's failing. Okay, it feels like it genuinely it's cracking at seams. It almost feels like it's burdening how much an analysis, attention, and general like praise you can have, and like that's almost like not even to the full extent, or they're not at their fullest potential or something like this. I just kept on hearing like they won't know how lucky they were or how lucky they are. It generally very like it frustrates, it annoys people, but it's also a general perception of a silver lining or feeling blessed. And that's not making sense for people. It's like, I don't understand where this person came from or who they are. But in general, it's like making them feel very like, you know, why in life I had so many obstacles and this person is getting everything so easily. But it's as though that perception would make you like again superior, and it's not playing well with how they want you to feel. It's like, you know, there is a lot of just silence in here for this pile. Like there, let's just keep everything like under the wraps. Let's just keep everything being secretive, and let's just not expose how much power they have. But we have in here strength. It's like I cannot explain to you how close all of this is to cracking at seams. Like, I don't know. It feels to me like, and also we have tower twice. So that makes me feel, by the way, intuition or general
Like, if you were to play detective, okay, not lying, like, not kidding, you would find some general like inconsistencies. So you could have a person like, they say something, but you see the results of the opposite, and you're not crazy because again, there is lots of mirroring in here, that's genuinely missing. Okay, like, there is a very controlled narrative, and with the disguise, with smooth, you don't fit in their rules, you don't fit in their power play or stuff like that, and it generally very upsets, like it upsets the person real time, like real big. um, how you end up being favored, how you end up being universally liked, how this silver lining energy, it's flaring up in here. It's like, they show up at the right time. They say the right thing. They keep on being present and active everywhere they should. It's like I don't even have an issue with them. I don't know, like, you really have to find fault with pile number 3. And it's like generally it feels like it's almost like with creepy, like, it feels like this person infiltrated this place and got the best treatment or the best there is, and it feels unfair. I don't know how to explain to you how deeply like hurt, burdened, frustrated, unlucky and unfavored people feel in comparison to you. And the thing is, you're not even boasting about this. I don't know. Now, this, why this is feeling very strange, it's because you would almost come with a perspective to me saying, oh, but no, this is completely not the case, or this is not true, or this is not even, maybe this is true, but this is not how I feel. If anything, I do feel like maybe I'm not that lucky. That's not what I see. That's not what I see. That's you come forward with Hulan here, with legacy. You come forward with almost like being on the verge, on the precipice of, yeah, and with this fool in here, like at the edge of a new order, of like some sort of situation where you take control of your kingdom. You could be met with lots of antagonism at first, or in general. You can expect that. I'm not saying you should. You should definitely, like, decide for yourself, because you can adjust your experience, maybe. I don't know. But expect that for those types of quality traits, you cannot live people like, you cannot live in the shadows. You cannot be in the shadows. You are like, the cars themselves, the energy itself in this reading is being imbued with a very dense value that's arising out of a lot of tumultuous situations where blatantly people don't want to acknowledge this, okay? But it's very obvious, okay? Something very similar. By the way, you could resonate with all 3 piles, because what I see in here seems to be like almost reverberating, and yeah. And very strangely how we have this castle in here in the middle, and like lots of like crowns in here and stuff. Um, maybe like this is not the awakened state, or maybe not necessarily awakened, because I can feel like you are ready for this, but like the outer world doesn't match, you know. Just like a lot of what I see in here is like your character, like your matrix, your core, exuding lots of ramifications and um, streams of general, like very impressive things. See, this could be character, this could be talent, this could be literally anything, and all of this interconnected creates your persona, your image, your identity. People look at this and they feel scared, they feel like they don't understand what's going on, and they feel the desire to constrict, control, and basically tone it down, okay? And it also seems like you're evading this, or there is some sort of also reckoning in here. If you're wondering, by the way, it's all like almost enveloping the space, but again, we have lots of references about what I talk about. It's like the crowns in the characters, also the castle in here in the middle, and yeah. It feels to me like it's very hesitant, like the amount of constriction, anxiety, and in general frustration and tension that's coming through as a result of not tackling the topic of you. It's insane. It's insane, okay? It's like deliberate ignorance and deliberate like ignoring of some things. I don't know. And this could be intelligence, this could be like the way in which you carry yourself, which is brilliant. I wouldn't say it's like even if you tried otherwise, you would still excel at it, okay? In comparison to you, I don't know why, but it makes me feel like as I was looking at this 10 of wands, people feel inferior, regular. People feel like they don't have the spark, the creativity. Even on a very deep level, it feels like you are living the moment and they are not, and they do not like it. So it's like, how this person is good at this, and then they are good at even living life and they don't feel bothered. They are so powerful, like this is just annoying, okay? It's like if you were to pick the best of the qualities of at something, this would be the scenario about you, and you have some people hooked on you. So not in vain I say that you have definitely lots of people um, ignoring and wanting to tone you down, because not only you have admirers in here, there is just annoyance when your name is being mentioned. And yeah, it's because it's so like, you have to understand that this is happening because you are very important. You have also from the pile selection the butterfly, so you can expect also this information. Like, I don't like comparison thinking, but it's the story also when uh, you are genuinely going to be called far off advanced, much more advanced than the people around you, and much more proficient at what people generally not only like, they struggle with it, they struggle real, like big time, and you can do it really well. You can do it like quite nicely, effortlessly. For you it's a play. That's perhaps why this is so annoying, because not like for me, but like in general, why do they get to do everything so easily, and why for them it's so easy and for me it's so hard, and why do they get so much attention? Like, there is a lot of like frustration in that regard. There has been definitely some analysis, character analysis for pile number three, and it was like, you'd think maybe it was superficial or people don't get you. I would say they do get you, and some people in here really stopped at you and were analyzing things really like in detail, and they were like very conscious. They know you. They know you in a way that they would be capable to actually properly assess you, and they still don't. So yeah. It's just like, I just can't believe it. Um, Somehow all three piles surprise me in the inaccuracy of how people perceive you. But, it's a genuine, like, general feeling of they are different. And they are different because they are better, and they are better than us. And who wants that kind of thing, and like they should be more humble or stuff like that. I don't like that, I really don't, because instead of at least having the decency to admit that and genuinely praise you for something that you deserve, you have this very like impersonal slash, let's just call it that way, because like everyone in this century likes like professionalism, and I don't have an issue with that. But when it's used deliberately in that way, it's just like a lack. It's very like it's very distasteful, I would say. Lots of insecurity in here, specifically like, you know, they're smarter, they're, and everyone knows it, everyone sees it. Why everyone is like acknowledging them? Like it's so obvious, it's actually hurting them. Yeah. And lots of observation, like observation, and you'd think people don't like, you know, for you it could cross your mind for some reason for pile number 3 that maybe I'm not like, you know, sadly it makes me want to say like not that interesting. And this is not true. Maybe you regard yourself as not that important. However, I just want to say you have people in here very confident and very like aware of you, okay, to say the least. And with this Seven of Swords, this is definitely people watching you even now. This could be like social media scrolling or gathering information about you. Then I don't know why this general sensation of like, you know, people treat me in like a very impersonal way and therefore they don't like me, or but it's not true. You are very like strong as a personality and you're not meant to be downplayed or to play it smooth or pretend or downplay or be humble about it. It's like not fitting for your character. You're meant for great things. You're meant to use that power. You're meant to use that character. And you're definitely not meant to circle around these people and like you don't deserve to be treated in a way that's deliberately toning down some very good qualities that you represent. And this like is coming from a perception of when I say I see like the spark of life in you. I see strength. I can see in here also a very polished personality. So I don't know what's going on. What's the case with these people? What's their problem? Okay, I see a very intelligent person. I would say craft wise, or I don't know how to explain it. It's like you're very good at something that you're doing. And there are many, like aside from that, there are many things that you are doing effortlessly and you don't even realize how much brilliance actually you have in those things out of simply like having fun. Like that's how it feels, like you're very good, you're very good at what you're doing, but the background miserably it will not show or will not mirror that for some reason. I don't know, that's what I can see. um that was very strange, but that was kind of it. Thank you so much for watching pile number 3. I hope you enjoyed the reading. If you did, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. Make sure to check out the other videos on the channel too, and if you want to donate, you can definitely do that. You have the links in the description section and the comment section. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to hear from you in the future readings. Take care.